What up, nerds? Okay. So, some updates that I got some feedback on with nostr. Some people have been saying, hey, it's got a good aesthetic. They like that that you don't have to log in order to participate. Let me rephrase that. You don't have to log in order to look. That is the point of nostr. It is actual decentralization. It is actually allowing you to own your media. Now, I will go over a little bit more because I think that there are some missing parts where people don't understand what nostr is. Nostr is a protocol. It is not a platform. Nobody owns nostr. The code is free and open source. And anybody can fork it, make a client, build stuff in order to make nostr work. They all are interconnected. Now, relays can reject you for spam. I looked into nostr. Based. Relays can reject you for spam. There are paid relays. There are self-hosted relays. But at the end of the day, nostr isn't a place that touts itself as free speech platform or any political ideology. What it does tout itself as is a place to be decentralized, self-hostable, and a protocol that cannot enforce any form of censorship. Because your notes can be posted to relays, massive amount of relays, by the way, you could add hundreds. You can run your own relays. You can run hundreds of relays, and your notes will float through the internet, thus making it censorship resistance. Because it's a protocol, it has to be blocked at the protocol level. Protocols are better for censorship resistance because generally, if a country or a company relies on these protocols, no one relies on nostr, it will be much more difficult to block the protocol. Protocols can bypass a lot of restrictions and censored countries. I often interact with a lot of people in repressive countries where their government is very authoritarian, and if there's a will, there's a way. The cool thing is you can run relays on Tor, and I believe there is an I2P integration. I'm not entirely sure. I haven't looked into that, but I would like to look into it. Now, my favorite era of the internet is MySpace. I think that was the most based era of social media. It was you log on, you interact, you leave. You don't get hooked onto an algorithm. You don't get hooked onto endlessly doom scrolling until your heart's content. Now, the internet does have its good uses. I've found a plethora of projects out there that are relatively awesome, and I thank the internet for finding it and putting it in front of me. But at the end of the day, I want a free and open source internet, and I want people to be able to exist on there, whatever their affiliation is, whatever their ideology is. I think everyone should have access to the internet. And the real problem with social media is you do not own your account. Twitter owns your account. Facebook owns your account. YouTube, you own your account. I own none of my accounts. Even if I buy my domain, I hand Elon Musk $8 a month for his fucking blue check mark. I'm monetized and partnered with YouTube or insert company here. They can cut those ties at any time. Nostr is great because it doesn't even have owners. You own your media. You want to use my client that I created? Based. Awesome. You don't, you can use something like Iris. You can use something like Snort. You can use something like Demis. You can move your profile around because it's kind of the point of decentralization is you ingrain it into the system, into these nodes that forever carry your identity. Think of it like radio waves. They don't die. They just keep going and going and going and going and going and going. Now, profile-wise, you can have Amber, QR code login, scan a QR code with Amber or NSEC, browser extension, NIP07, connect it with a browser extension like Albi, Nox2, or Nostr Connect, private key, and new identity. Some people have given me feedback in the sense of two things. Why can't I just log into Nostr like a Google sign-in, which is a secure way to do it? And why can't I do XYZ? And I would love feedback on anything that you find problematic, and I would poll it to see what's most important, and I would poll it to see if it's worth integrating. Now, I want this to be very Monero-centric. I want Monero to be integrated because a lot of people don't know that Nostr is a protocol. It has nothing to do with cryptocurrency. The Bitcoin people just identified with what Nostr was. It was a free, even though Nostr doesn't claim this, and I understand where they're coming from, they look at it as a free speech platform. They look at it as a free platform because Nostr allows you to interact with people in order to essentially create communities. And if you don't like someone, you just block them. Whatever, move on. No worry about getting community striked or reported, or like the fucking retard that reported my account. What up, Billy? Nostr is for Bitcoin maxis. I would disagree that there's lots of Monero people on there, but Nostr is not it's agnostic to the idea of any cryptocurrency. Bitcoin people just thought that it was a good place to go to. I don't think it's for Bitcoin maxis. There's definitely Monero enjoyers on there. The difference is we just haven't pushed enough people over there yet. And that is what my goal is to do. I want to push Monero people over there because I think it's a better platform. I want actually everyone to need more. We do need more Monero bros. Hi, I came for the honeypot. What's up? There's lots of honey here, man. So we do need more Monero people. So I'm trying to build something that is Monero-centric, that integrates with Monero, that aligns with Monero's values. So I made a progressive web. This is a progressive web app. There is no. I'm not going to do any app store. I'm not going to put it on this app store. I'm not going to. I'm not going to go out there and repackage everything. I'm just going to run it as a progressive web app because progressive web apps are more private. They're easier on your resources, and they're agnostic to they're agnostic to the platform. So I don't have to do anything. Some feedback I got is somebody said your notes are going too fast for me to interact. So the notes slowed down a little bit. Now you can scroll and you can click for the new notes. If you see something you like, you pause. You go in, log in with a private key, or you can do new identity. So once you have an identity, then you can interact. This is to prevent spam, obviously. So say I like this post, I pause, I come in, and I comment. Now I'm going to probably just tried posting from Nostr. It crashed. Boats and other buffed. Where did you post from? Like, what did you use to post? If you're talking about this, please, let me know. Because I don't collect analytics or anything, and I'm not going to do a log report because that might reveal information that I don't want to see. Unless I can confirm that it will, unless I can do a confirmation that it won't collect any data, I want to refrain from that. But if you're on Graphene OS, if this was an application, it would send you a log report, and I could look at it. You could send that, and I could look through it and see what the issue is. So once you get a profile, I did something very cool. I remember sit timed out error. Are you talking about mine? Like my platform? Like, are you talking about on Windows Firefox browser? Okay. If you could, it's kind of hard because DMing is a little complicated. Are you talking about, if you're talking about Glowstar, please let me know. I'll look at it. So on Glowstar, we actually have a, but back to, not that. Back to the I got some feedback saying that and that, and it doesn't tell us what these do. Heart, you get to heart it, you get to like it. It tells you this is to get in a chain, message chain, and then threads. This is a thread so that you can just have the threads right there. I wanted the threads, and I want you, when you hover over, I want to it tell you what to do. Bookmark this post, and then you can send a private encrypted DM message to the person. Do not trust the encryption. I've never tested it, and I would say if you're sending a message, you should take it at face value. That this could be leaked, or there might be some security flaws, especially when it comes to the encrypted message. Only send it for non-sensitive stuff. Because I wanted it to be Monero centric, you have an XMR USD on. This is only on the desktop. On the mobile, it's much more condensed, so you can enjoy your screen time. I did make a tab for that though. Thoughts on Raspberry Pi 4.5 with Pi-hole and VPN for privacy? Just get a Intel NUC, honey. Yeah, Intel NUCs are much cheaper. They're better. Their power consumption is lower, and they practically cost the fucking same. What's up, Coke? Thank you. I appreciate it. Big Donkey Crypto Balls. we do love Big Donkey Crypto Balls. So the other good thing is with the relays, the more relays you add, the further it reaches. Can you feel the freedom in the U.S.? I certainly can't. Can you feel the freedom? But if you have a privacy consideration, you should set up onion relays and use onion relays. They protect your privacy, or just use a VPN. If you want to avoid spam and you want to support Monero, you can get paid XMR relays. You pay one time and you get the access to the relays. And then you can do NIP65 outbox model. It tells other clients which relays you feed and write from. Publishing a relay makes you discoverable. So it makes you, if you want to be discoverable, completely possible. And it helps with your DMs. After your profile, so let's look, a cool sword. VPN, Onion, Snowflake Bridge. For sure, yeah. Anything that you want to do, if you do not, remember, relays could be malicious. They could see information that you don't want to. This is why I integrated, if you post a picture, it will strip the XFS data. So let's do a sword. When people visit, copy image address, copy link address. Okay, this should work. You got to be careful when you go on some of these. I'm thinking of adding a not safe for work option. I posted it. Nice. So when you go to your profile, you go right here. You can actually autoplay music when someone visits my profile. Requires visit opt-in only. There we go. These tell you what the buttons do, but I can't really confirm that this is going to work. But visitors see the cursor while on your profile. Cursor for you.com has free XY cursors. So let's do this. Copy image address. I think that would be it. And let's do DM profile, view my profile. It's going to be hard. Go to your local mosque. Maybe can you explain internal buying of the materials from the dark seas? Is it different from ordering? No. If you buy from the dark net, you have to understand that you always are within your own jurisdiction. It would not be advised. I really have to test this cursor thing. Maybe I can make this a... let me see if I can do this. Let's do this. Probably won't show up because it's, yeah, I figured. But if I update my picture, let's do that. This one works. This one works. Let's do a little, there we go. No. No. Oh, there we go, baby. Look at that. Now I got a cool sword on here. Obviously, other people in other nostr places might not see it. Bookmark, save to read later, DM chip, blah, blah, blah. Look at that. Maybe the photo didn't work, but this is very based. What would you not advise? It depends on your laws. In the United States, buying drugs is like, if you want to use your real address, you don't want to like look suspicious. And obviously I would never do this. No sword crossing, as we always, just don't tell anyone you're ordering in person. Yeah, for sure. You actually want to expose your real address and your name because it's plausible deniability. In the United States, plausible deniability is a real thing. We can 110% do plausible deniability. We're protected. Make sure you dial your local FBI so they can make sure they protect your package. Don't listen to the memes, man. It sounds crazy, but your best option is actually to... God, I love this. Top 8. I just want to make sure, and then feed. Ironically, they might actually do that. Yeah, but if you use public services like United States Postal Service and other things that is protected under the Fourth Amendment, then it doesn't matter. That's just from what I read how the law works. I would never give advice to buy illegal drugs on the internet or own Monero. It's illegal. Next part is going to be the communities. So if you want to create a community like Monero, oh, there is none. So we can create one. We'll call it Monero Movers. People that are moving from display name. Monero migration. And then we can create and publish. Monero migration. I'm in it. I can post. I love Monero. I need some Adderall to study, not illegal stuff. Well, if you're obtaining it without a prescription, that's technically illegal. I can get you address. Oh, address right now. It's public due to the lack of national security. Yeah, send the random dark web person your full legal name and address and pray the law saves you. No, you wouldn't send them your fucking full legal name and address. You would send it to the police. Of course. I mean, this is what darknet market vendors don't care. If they have a good reputation, I mean, basic own set, yeah, if you're reckless. Don't need some dark web nerd shit. I'm just saying, like, if you're buying from the dark web, they don't care. You know what I mean? But in my country, there's no Adderall. Don't buy from the U.S. We have none either. We have a shortage. I think we still have an Adderall shortage. It's not illegal to pay $2 for your address. No, for sure. We actually have no. We have like no. It's not illegal to know people's public information. It's all public for a reason. Your tax records are public. Your housing is public, etc., etc. I'm saying someone who's operating a business, they don't give a fuck who you are. They just want your money. Using the term dark web in 2026, yeah, I know it's gay. I could pay $2 and sneak through your window. There's nothing stopping me. Well, my gun. Well, my gun's stopping someone from sneaking through my window. All my guns, actually, within reach. It's the unlit web now, bro. It's the 6.7 web. 6.7? No? Is that not cool anymore? Then, after communities, and you're joined, I don't know how it's pending. I'm literally the moderator. So I'll have to probably fix that. Then there's a market. So I wanted to integrate some market so people can just go and buy stuff whatever they want for Monero or for Lightning. Right here, contact seller. And as long as you can prove you're not a bot, DMs will reach relay, demos out gatekeeper, relay primal.net. Hi, I'm interested in this. Send. And they might receive it. PCP is hell of a drug. I think the dark web is no longer used. I prefer to either use a Tor or I2P instead of the dark web. What about the clear web? What about the clear net? I wonder what... Yo, nice. Thank you. I worded that wrong. True. Yo, what's up? But that's the thing is, like, people can get this information. I am very worried, but I cannot focus on work. I need ADHD meds. I will take the risk, I guess. If you're going to do it, I mean, if you live in a different country, then yeah. I mean, the problem is the person who's selling the stuff legally or illegal or whatever, it doesn't really give a shit who you are. That's it. They just want your money. That's how any business works. You think they're going to go out of their way to, like, oh, cool, I have this one guy's address. I'm just going to, like, go see him. You know what I mean? It seems very retarded. Rather say specific darknet instead of dark web. Sir, what you're referring to is actually the dark net. It's like the meme. What's the difference between darknet and dark web or dark nuts? D's nuts. But that's pretty much like here nor there. It's all gay. It's not just gay. It's, well, not really. I mean, like, the darknet definitely has a purpose. There's actually, when there was like just a couple of months ago when there was an Adderall shortage, I was reading the fact that you guys are actually about this is so 2026. That's true. What a 2026 thing to do. I personally don't care. I think it's cringe when people think that the darknet is used just for, like, I think when people think Tor and the darknet and the dark web and the gay web is used for just drugs and, like, illegal stuff. It's just people that want privacy. How old are you, kid? Welcome to you're so June 2026. I'm 69 years old in 420 days. What's up, JB Doberman? There's definitely it's more cringe when people are like, that's what they think that the internet, that's what it's for, because that in itself is cringe. Wow. You know, like the meme? Wow. Cool. So definitely super psyched about this. We have a search I have a search function working now. Your keys, and then Monero, and then if you have a wallet, actually it's money. I'm not reading all that. I learned deep web and darknet are two. I think the NSA needs to look at you a little closer. We love the NSA. Different things. Guys, actually, peak. What did the NSA do wrong? Which darknet is the dark web? Is the dark nuts? True. That's a good question. Probably for tomorrow. So after profile, let me see if the music actually works again. No copyright, no copyright. Do 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 do. Okay, DM's profile, my profile. Cool sword. Uploading nostr build. Okay. And there we go. Paste. No. Let's see. Let's start going to go. Call me a weenie poo. How am I in this honeypot? I don't know. Sorry, I'm 8 beers down. Guys, there's a microphone in my walls. Help. GG's. For real, for real. How do I connect to the darknet when did that start? Guys, there's a microphone. No, there's a microphone in your waffle. Darknet encompasses any private encrypted network, so you can't connect to the darknet. You have to pick one. Actually, Tor picks it for you. They pick the random nodes. The dark web is different than the darknet. Is it like quantum entanglement or an alternate reality? Alternate realities aren't even real. Damn. My cool sword can't pick. My microwave is spying on me. Probably, if it's a smart microwave, 100%. That could be very true. We're not gonna talk about the microwave part, but okay, maybe it's broken again. That's okay. Not the point. Back to the topic, guys. We're actually gonna pull up Tor. And we're gonna do some darknet driving. So give me 1 second. All right, cool. You got a Mark of the Beast. It's weird as fuck. Oh. I think the dark web encompasses all the dark nets. True. Yes, they are, and so is Santa Claus. I can feel the coming from the microwave with my implant. That's funny. Don't go to Tor. I heard it's bad people in there. True. It's weird as fuck. You got the Mark of the Beast. It's fairly strong. Is this a hypervisor? I wish. Hell yeah. QQM all the way. Can you show me whether the dark libraries are? I want to learn about everything I'm not supposed to learn about. Teach me so that I can split and atom myself. The bloodline of the Illuminati. Start there. Illuminati is not real, man. That's what they want you to think. That's what they want you to know. Oh, you think it's just the Illuminati? Do. Okay, so there is something that's going around that I'm not a huge fan of. And I already found books on global economics that would make people shit. No, they wouldn't. I think they're gay. There is an illegal content host on the Tor Onion servers. Tor was made to browse the normal internet anonymously, traffic encrypted through 3 random relays. Yeah, it's a really good book, just a non sequitur in the end. I believe that all these books are just made by schizophrenics speaking to other schizophrenics. It's like, cool, even if you have this knowledge, even if you're aware of something like this, it's like, cool, I know this and nothing changes. I mean, even if it is true, let's say, give it like the benefit of the doubt or like hypothetical, it doesn't matter. You can have all, what dark web forums do you guys use for, I use Sam Bent's site, darkwebdaily.live. It updates all the Onion links. Tor Onion servers were added and as an afterthought, for sure. We're in a panopticon, sure. I mean, the hardest part of NE is to find legit links that to Sam Bent's website. I can cruise. You would just type in his website. But remember, guys, he's a Fed. English boils down to Marxist and capitalist schizophrenia in the end. Sure. Nobody uses Latin anymore. I mean, there's a reason why. It kind of sucks. Life doesn't matter then if we have no control. If we are monitored down to the millisecond, what's in living? Well, we're not. I mean, there's obviously tools out there that are fighting for your rights for privacy and security. I mean, obviously, nothing's going to be perfect. You can't. Anyone making the claim that we can achieve 100% anonymity online is ludicrous. I think people should have access to the internet. I don't think it should be just move into the woods and give up on it on a beautiful creation. I think that's just lying down and being a bitch at the end of the day. If you don't want to participate on the internet, for sure, but I think that's like the weakest way out. It's like telling someone to leave a country. It's like leaving a country because your country has problems. Or you have it being vocal about problems about your country and then people telling you to leave. That's like the laziest argument. That's like, I'm a bitch. I don't want to have an actual conversation. And I this is what I would do. You know what I mean? If people just laid down and left XYZ because of XYZ, then we would have never progressed as a society. This is why you have to reject common communications. You have to reject handing out your email into every every superstore. You have to reject using normal social media. You have to reject the status quo. You have to choose what you want to give out. You have to choose what platforms you use. You have to think much further than the surface level. I think those are important things to do. Speaking of rights to privacy, RTP's blog on ITP is up. Based, my favorite RTP enjoyer. RTP is my favorite I2P enjoyer. R2P, I2P enjoyment. Maxing, as they would say on the internet. I think the internet's great. I'm not a bitch, and I use it freely, and I love it, and it's a great thing. And I try to maintain as a high level of privacy against advertisers. That is my threat model. I think advertisers suck. I prefer integrating with transhuman ideology, but it sounds super gay. That does sound super gay, and maybe someone should check out your browser. Axios hack got me super paranoid. I decided, well, I'll just go along with TFA. Yeah, TFA. Transhuman just sounds fruit. It is kind of fruit sounding. It sounds like you be on femboys.com. TFA is a scam? Definitely not. Hardware authentication is probably the best thing that we have made. Hardware authentication is probably by far, we need like 6 MFA. No. 2FA is definitely there. I use I mean, are there ways to bypass hardware authentication? Sure. But is it better than SMS authentication or no authentication? Yeah. I mean, if it wasn't good, then big organizations wouldn't be incorporating them. Banks haven't because they're fucking retarded, and it costs money. FIDO keys are garbage. If you could explain why they're garbage, then if you can explain to me how they're garbage, I'll listen. I've never had an issue with the FIDO key. I try to implement it all. What FIDO keys are you using? I've never had a problem with the FIDO key. I use them all the time. They're great. I would even say passkeys are better, but they're too vendor locked right now. Passkeys. SMS spoofing isn't a security. SMS spoofing isn't security against. Yeah. SMS is terrible. It's better than nothing, but it's terrible. Hardware authentication is always going to be better. Even OTP, if your threat model is nation state, then you should get off the internet. Do you have a tutorial for hardware auth? No, but I might make one if there's enough need for it. It's a pretty easy thing to use. The keys are fine if it's the software's Windows. It's the software on Windows computer mostly. Oh, I don't use Windows. You shouldn't be using Windows either. I mean, I use it on my browser. I use hardware authentication everywhere. You've named it. Besides Windows, I don't touch that garbage. And I don't have an iPhone, so I wouldn't know. So, we're going to talk about something real quick. Does anyone have trouble using X on Tor? Yes. They're pretty Tor haters. Yeah. I mean, hardware authentication is your best option. The problem is, I guess, with the hardware. So, passkeys are really, really good. But they're too locked in to their ecosystem that they're a tribe to. Every corporate company uses standard iOS and Windows. I got no choice but to, for sure. I'm not saying it's ideal. That is a problem. But even if I've never had an issue with like hardware authentication. I use most of mine are so Cubes OS. If I can get hardware authentication to work in Cubes with really bad documentation, anyone can. By the way, I use FIDO keys all the time. FIDO keys all the time with Cubes OS. In a very specific, I use CTAP proxy, which is I mean that was a nightmare to set up, but I got it to work finally. So we're gonna look at a video, and this isn't a hate video, but this is something that I do not like, and I have my own criticisms of it. And we're gonna look at. The standard is so dog shit. The problem is the FIDO certification costs like 10K or some shit. Yeah. There's problem. I'm not saying it's perfect. I can't think of his name. Everyone needs to move away from FIDO or reform it. Yeah. There's definitely problems with it. The fuck's this guy's name? He has a video. Oh my god, this fucking loser. I forgot about him. How is he still getting 10k views on fucking... Okay. I was like, how is this guy? You're the man, I appreciate it. Oh, thank you, I appreciate it. And I appreciate everyone that stops by. How can you be making fucking thousands of videos on VPNs? And how are you 113,000 subs and you're not even cracking, you're barely cracking 1,000 subs? I understand that it's got to be a fall off thing, like people just aren't interested. But why would you go from VPN to fucking height server to VPN use? Like, I just don't get it. Every time this guy like doesn't live rent free in my head, but every time I come by him, my skin crawls. Just something about him. I've watched his stuff. It's quite scary. God, what the fuck is this dude's name? There we go. There we go. There we go. We're not going to watch the whole thing. I don't want to be a content thief, guys. But why Cape is the most private phone carrier? Bullshit. I just disagree. VPN advisors are the scum of the earth. Yeah, they're the worst. I just said no. This is such a bad argument too, and I'm going to get into why. I've thought about this. I'm sad that I have to give this man ad money. I just disagree with it. Let me skip it. Let me skip it. God, please let me skip this fucking ad. I swear if there's a third one. Okay. So Cape, I've been pretty vocal about their pricing was always dog shit. $100 is fucking insane. And they listened, and I'm using heavy quotes on that. People said that, like, okay, Palantir, we have to watch the whole thing. It's like 12. Oh god, it's 20 minutes. It's just so bad. 20 minutes is just too much. I wish I could take this and rip it down. You could honestly do this in 10 minutes. It's not good. So I used a ton of let's see. The problem is there's no source. There's no source, and that's the problem. And why it's not, and saying IMSI rotation is not useless is a bunch of bullshit. It is useless. for like the vast majority of people. That's what I am. That's what it's called. I get dyslexia with this, and they don't accept Tor, so I'm already mad. First off, I'm not a lawyer, but in the United States, well, like I said, probably fire JP Tor and ExpressVPN. Say now your ISP doesn't quote unquote know who you are. The thing is, first off, in the United States, we have no protections. The government can come in and say, give me this person's information, and they have to comply. Saying we won't sell your data and we won't hand over to law enforcement, XYZ, is a pinky promise at best. If they have no information to hand over, that is in itself them saying we would comply, but we can't. Because we have nothing to hand over. Because we have to, because it's legally required. Fine. That's not a problem. The problem is, it is a gimmick, in my opinion, at most. When you have a company that has to send over this information, XYZ, but they can't because they collect nothing, whatever. We have nothing we can show you for sure. And if it's tested in court, that makes 100% sense because it's been tested in court. And it's like, okay, I can take a trust barrier, like a trust level, and push it up a little bit because it's tested in court. The problem is your cell phone provider has a lot of information it can collect. It has a lot of information that they can request from the company. You don't know what contracts are. This is me trusting another third party on top of the regular party I already don't trust. So not only I have to trust CAPE, I have to trust every interoperable component and mechanism in between. And because I have to trust these components in between at the base layer, I have to trust that they have made a secure, safe system that's connected to T-Mobile or that's connected to AT&T or Verizon. I believe they just use AT&T and T-Mobile right now. Or they use US Cellular, but US Cellular got acquired by T-Mobile, which, whatever. And these telecom providers are all shitty in their own way. AT&T has an awful track record of holding data for much longer than they're supposed to. They have insanely long data retention. Verizon definitely sells your data. They buy up these companies so they can collect more. I mean, they bought Yahoo. No trust there. And I believe they were amongst the three that was selling location data and got sued. I will have to fact check that one. T-Mobile has a fucking data breach and a security issue, not a small one, a critical security issue, like every 4 or 5 months. It's like another critical security breach or data leak from T-Mobile again and again and again. It's like 4 a year. It's not the data breach or the security problem that's the problem. It's how they handle it, and it happens again. And some of it's like best practice. This should have been done. This was not done right. But they'll spend millions of dollars on fucking advertising, just like all of them. I mean, they're all terrible. You have to be good. You have to be in the. You have it good in the U.S. You have a democracy and a jury. In here, yeah. I mean, America's great in a lot of sense. We have a lot of freedoms that some countries do not benefit from. I get it. I mean, people don't like to admit it. They're like, "Oh, America bad, America bad, America bad." But over here, and people will correct you like, "Oh, it's a republic. It's a republic." Suck my balls. It's a mix. It's mixed. But we do have a lot of protections over here that help. Well, my problem is, first off, these motherfuckers are. First off, it's already the affiliate. This is like my issue with the affiliate link. You barely test this fucking shit, and you're already handing out an affiliate link. It's embarrassing. And he even says himself, I haven't ported my number over. I'm testing it. But use my affiliate link. Trust me, guys. That's embarrassing. This is the problem with the affiliate economy. People only look at the dollar. They're like, trust me, guys. I just looked at their technology. I'm just doing a trust me, bro. It's like they said that they don't collect my data. Fuck you. That's why I don't like people like this. It's like you have an opinion, and the thing is, I have no problem with people making money, and I have no problem with even privacy guides. I have an issue with a person who won't even. They're just testing out the service, and they're like, use my affiliate, guys. Can I, cars right now? We the people in order to subscribe to something we bought and paid for. Yeah, for sure. I hate that too. Subscription after the purchase. Fucking crazy.
A lot of comments asking about Cape, the mobile phone carrier.
And here's a TLDR. If you want to exit on this, all mobile providers are hostile. The Cape said they built a core technology on here, the TDLR, that they can't collect user information. They don't collect user information. They don't sell it, whatever. They're still using the infrastructure under it that's AT&T and T-Mobile. You can't verify this. You are trusting them. It's that simple. If you can't read code, I get it. You are entrusting them. You're entrusting the people, but you're entrusting thousands of people that can actually go audit this code. You're trusting some cucks. And his reasoning, again, affiliate links ecosystem is so shady. Yeah, it is. This company has been out not long enough for anyone to even verify what they're saying. And his argument is, he says, there is a harm. You're embracing the affiliate economy. You're going off with this idea that it is in the hands of Graphene OS, Proton, or the Electronic Frontier Foundation to go out of their way and investigate these people when you are endorsing it to a certain degree by saying, use my code, guys. That's an endorsement. Guys, just use this code of this company that I barely even know. And people are allowed to, people are allowed to have the different opinions. Cape might be fucking balls great. They might have built the most, thick, cock-sucking fucking thing that is, Proton themselves are untrustworthy. Yeah, Proton fucking literally has handed over tons of, Sam Bent has his own fucking thing on them. Proton has went out of their way to point out that they have answered to requests from, I believe, the EU. You have to read his entire article on them, and I think it is good criticism of Proton. Beyond that point, these products that are being recommended, and if people are just like, oh, it's just fucking, it's criminals. No, it's not. Beyond these products being recommended, I think it's a false sense of security. If you go to a protest, you shouldn't bring your phone. It's that simple. We've done it for hundreds of years. We've protested as people without cell phones. You do not need to bring your cell phone to a protest. There's too much risk, and there is no reward. There's too many mistakes you can make. There is no reward. Bring a digital camera, upload it to the internet, call it a day. This whole argument that we can catch it live and see all these mistakes. Body cams exist. We live in a country where we can FOIA request anything. Street cams exist. There's fucking cameras that can live stream. You can just get a camera, no phone needed, live stream. And half this shit is even fucking live streamed anyways. People are just fucking doing it and then uploading it. In maybe within 20 minutes of them seeing it, uploading on TikTok or whatever. It's not a feature to be able to upload instantly when someone gets fucking murdered. It's gonna take hours to spread through the internet. It's gonna take hours for people to dissect it. And also, I think information is spreading too fast for people to make opinion. People then start having opinions on it, and it's fucking gay. Back to the point of people having opinions on something that is, again, in my opinion, I think it's a gimmick. The pricing is $100. Now they are letting people go out of the. We should build a free speech video platform. Fuck Odyssey. We should. It's too complicated to be able. It's way too much. You would have to monitor so much. It's not even worth it. That's why most of those platforms don't even succeed. But beyond that, besides my besides me just attacking people,
Comments in my video about freely or
I got to do on 2-speed, man. Some people just, I don't know. Maybe it's my autism. I just don't think peer-to-peer. Yeah, peer-to-peer's fine. I just don't think that if anyone doesn't want to make it past this, I do not like the idea of selling privacy and security as a gimmick. I do not like the idea that people are going to use this and have a false sense of security with actually no vetting. I could give a fuck less if the EFF, I don't care if Richard Stallman and Edward Snowden come out and say, based, use it, guys. That doesn't mean they haven't. That doesn't mean they vetted it. That doesn't mean they've looked through it. There was a company before this called Pretty Good Privacy by Phil Zimmerman, who made PGP, and some other guy. It didn't work out because a lot of the technology that they were touting that worked didn't work. I'm not saying they did it right and they failed and they're doing it wrong and this is right. Like whatever. That's not the point. The point is 5G in itself is supposed to be able, when it's implemented properly by the carrier, and when it's implemented correctly, 5G is more secure and slightly more private. But they don't, because it costs money and time and blah, 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 blah. Capitalism, whatever we want to say. I've been saying that forever. I read a really good article on saying why pretty good phones privacy is not good. I don't trust Rob Braxman. I think he got something wrong about I2P, Tor, and locking it. Yeah, Rob Braxman's a snake oil. I mean, I could do a whole fucking video on that guy. But that's beyond the point. CAPE sounds good on paper, but that's all it is. It sounds good on paper. It's still a telecom provider. It's still using infrastructure that we cannot verify or trust. And from, objectively, my opinion, really not good companies that have a really serious track record of not respecting people's privacy or security, they're not good. They have terrible practice. It's just the reality of it. You should treat all mobile networks hostile and untrustworthy. Simple as that. That is the easiest approach. Is that me saying don't use them? No, but you shouldn't trust them. You should be using end-to-end encrypted messaging. That's very simple. And you could honestly get away with using fucking prepaid and call it a day. Put your phone in airplane mode for 80% of the time if you want to, or use prepaid. Prepaid, you don't have to give any personal information. Oh no, they got your location. CAPE, for all you know, could be harvesting all this location because you can't verify it. And they could be taking it and selling it because at the end of the day, it is quite literally a pinky promise. It's like going to a website, don't sell my data, they don't have to fucking listen, there's no legislation, there is no protection for you. Do not trust these companies that are trying to funnel $100 a month out of your pocket for some pipe dream because they know that there's fucking retards out there that will. Simple as that. I digress.
just general
By the way, the $100 gets deducted and zeroed out with that many affiliate links. Affiliate links, they might not track you, they might not be XYZ, but it's a way to suck you into that platform, and they do something else that I just do not care for.
from Privacy Guide's followers. So today I wanted to talk about some recent changes to CAPE, features of CAPE that I really like that definitely do give it an edge over Freely, some downsides that I think you should be aware of if you're considering it, and why I'll personally probably end up porting both of my numbers over to them in future.
Because it's free, baby. I'm just kidding.
Before their recently updated pricing, my response to these questions has typically been the same each time. It has some interesting things going on for it, but the eye-watering $99 a month price didn't seem worth it to most people, even including very privacy and security conscious people like myself. This has changed a bit though, and I've been using CAPE myself for at least the last couple of days, and I want to share some thoughts about why it finally might make sense for more people.
Jesus Christ, an ad. You control this, by the way. An ad.
Voldoende vezels? Nou, ik doe mijn best. Ik kies voor volkoren, voldoende fruit en groenten natuurlijk.
Is that why we're doing anything over 8 minutes?
Nieuw, optimaal vezels. Voor een dagelijks
I should do all my videos at 7 minutes and 99 seconds. So, just kidding. 7 minutes and 60 seconds. 59 seconds. 7 minutes and 60 seconds is a fucking 8 minutes. What an interesting way to put it. Guys, I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to have a video that's under the 8 minute mark. It's going to be 7 minutes and 60 seconds. Do the math. Oh my god, 2 ads. I'm dying. I should have done this on Brave. I should have done this on Brave to block this shit.
Importantly, it has only been a couple days, so this is very much a first impressions video. If you want a full review of Cape in the future, subscribe and let me know in the comments.
What would be a full review? You're already fucking handing out an affiliate link for it. Don't you think it would be more responsible to not hand out a fucking affiliate link for a company that you don't actually use and you haven't tested or vetted? Just saying.
First, I think we should get into pricing because, for better or for worse, I do think this is the main thing most people consider when buying self-service over anything else. Cape is running a promotion which they've implied runs through the end of this year, where new service.
End of the year, by the way. Promotion, end of the year. So, like, they're running it. You don't even know if they're going to continue to run it. And you're telling people to switch over it, and you haven't really determined if you're going to or not. Crazy. The bar is low, guys.
$70 a month plus. If you use a referral code, you get another $20 off for life, which brings it down to $50 a month permanently. This is the part of the video where I have to say I do have a referral code, and every time someone uses it, I get $20 a month off my plan as well. So make of that what you will. I've already gotten a couple referrals before making this video, and I really only need one more before my plan becomes free. They don't pay me any more than the max plan discount, so I can't stack like 100 referrals and make bank or anything. But I'll leave my referral code in the comments.
But guys, I just signed you up over here. $100. Now I have no phone bill.
You're guaranteed to get the $50 plan yourself if you sign up, and maybe I'll get that final $10 and get over the line. If you do sign up, you can leave your referral codes in the comments as well. Like
my balls.
This is for family plans, because if you're going to be paying for a bunch of lines anyways.
Oh my god. The pricing. Yeah. Another ad. I'm dying. I'm literally fucking dying here. That's honestly a good ass looking sandwich. He's on tour. I am on tour. They just don't have fucking built-in ad blocker. I should do uBlock Origin, please. God, I feel like I don't get this many ads watching a Linus Tech Tip video. That's a good ass looking. I love Rob Rexman and this dude. Just try, trust me, bro. Another Dutch milk ad.
Een simpele zakelijke rekening, vertrouwd door meer dan 600.000 ondernemers. Business finance.
The thing is, they're spoiler. So I pre-watched this, guys. I pre-watched this. I'm sorry. The thing is, IMS eye rotation could benefit more people, and IMEI rotation could benefit more people if this was even possible. Like, if it's possible, if everyone does it, because then you can't. Nothing looks unique. If they took all the phone vendors, all these identifiers, and they rotated through them every 24 hours, every 30 minutes, whatever. At any point, it's not a bad idea. It's actually, there's not much information that leaks to you as long as you didn't buy this phone or give this company any information. If you've always been very anonymous with your number and you've always been very private how you purchase your cell phones, there is almost no correlation to you besides location tracking. Location tracking is complicated. It is very unique. You see, remember to drink your Dutch milk and thank your liver. Thank you. Yeah, for sure. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. The thing is, there are now more ads on the videos. Like, goddamn network charge. Yeah, for real. The thing is, when you have these identifiers to attach to your phone, they're very unique in themselves. They're very complicated. It's not as easy as just do a VPN, turn off location, even though that's better than not doing that. You have a lot of things that point to your identity because metadata is the gold. That is a pile of gold to these advertisers. They can kind of figure out who you are through your habits, through your typing habits. I mean, you can go down to very specific esoteric, forms of tracking. But that deters people from doing it because they think there is no reason to do it. And I think that is in itself its own problem. How you actually reach an audience of people is these are probably the main pillars of what's tracking you. How can you mitigate them? Your phone number. Your phone number is very easy to mitigate. There are plenty of VoIP providers out there that are privacy friendly, that accept Monero. The problem is they probably use big telecom providers. And you don't know if there's an exchange of data that they can collect at any point in time in order to fingerprint you. Because at the end of the day, they own the fucking infrastructure. It doesn't matter if Cape builds a super fucking gay laser and makes it beam all the data right out of the fucking box. The point is, they're still using the infrastructure that is not inherently private and has terrible track records. I mean, I could link to all the problems that come up with that come across these telecom giants in America. We don't have enough competition, and I think I would have rather waited 2 years and donated money for them to build their own infrastructure. And they're like, oh, it's not possible. It's actually scary. Fuck you. Quit being a bitch, man. It can't be like this life-changing amount of money. You're charging $100 to people to use an MVNO. You know what I mean? Like, crazy. They have government contracts, and they're transparent about that. And that's not the part that I don't have a problem with that. Tons of companies have, government contracts. Now, being an ex-Palantir employee, kind of weird, kind of sus. Not a fan of that. Because I think Palantir is a fucking nightmare. And we don't know how long they were at Palantir. We don't know how long they knew Palantir was being a demon company and collecting all these people's data. And it's a fair criticism to not trust this person. And if I had to... Look, I've been on a roll of predictions. I'm just saying... Watch this fucking shit. Look, if I just speak into the universe and they end up being a fucking honeypot, I want someone to come back and watch this video and be like, based! He's great. He's predicted too much. Call him Nostradamus from all the... Call him Cyber Nostradamus from all the fucking... all the good ideas that he's been spouting into the internet. But that's beyond the point. I'm not here to shame anyone. I'm not here to shame people for using a service. I'm here to shame people that use a service that barely used it and just trust me, Bo. And then here's my affiliate link, and then talk about pricing and affiliate link for like 5 minutes, and then have like fucking 6 ads. Fuck you. That's insane. This went from a non-hate video to hate video. I'm just kidding. I'm not a hater of privacy guides. I think they do good work. This is not one of them.
The realm of reason, $50 a month maximum you might be paying, though. I think that Cape's plan.
Tons, and the argument here lies in here that port out protection, SIM swapping, always the problem for sure. Huge fucking problem. How do you solve it? You solve it by picking companies that have port out protection. Cloak has it. I use Cloak Mobile. They worked. I thought $60 a month was fucking crazy. $25 a month is fucking crazy. I got data from them for like a gig. For like a couple Moneros. So there's no number they can swap out. I use data only. I don't use anything mobile related. I always just have data only plans. It's simple. I can turn it off. There is no actual phone number. I don't use those phone numbers. I have a very complex scheme set up that I don't expect anyone to fucking do. But if you do want to a reasonable way, Google Voice, port out. I believe US Mobile still has port out protection. And guys, if you know, Graphene OS, by the way, does really good MAC randomization when you connect via Wi-Fi, meaning they are protecting your privacy even more. That means you could do data only, get a VoIP, use Signal, and then for your work, find a VoIP provider that respects your privacy. And hear me out. Use that. Don't use it for your bank. Damn these fuckers. Don't use your most important number, your true number, your true identity. Make sure you pick a provider that respects your security. Your privacy using a mobile telecom provider should never be expected. Should it exist? For sure. Should we be federally protected? Should there be some law in place that protects us so we can sue these fucking losers into the ground? For sure. Should we have more competition? For sure. 100%. Not disagreeing with any of those thoughts that people are probably having. But what I do disagree with is that these companies don't go out of their way to incorporate some form of security mechanism, whether it be a passphrase that you have to make, whether it be FIDO2 authentication to get into the account, whether it be just as something as simple as if you are going to port out my number or swap my SIM card, you have to know this code. You have to send a code to this email. You have to do something. They need to be responsible for this. This security and privacy shouldn't be $100 a month. It shouldn't be, I'm not saying a business shouldn't operate and make profit, but we shouldn't price out basic security and privacy. That should be something privacy that's a different discussion. Basic security, like hardware authentication and having the ability to protect your number when these companies fucking know it, should be the bare minimum for me to spend money with you. If it costs you $5 more to incorporate this, let me pay it. But not $100, which is fucking crazy. And I shouldn't have to affiliate link my fucking way to get to a good, quote-unquote, more secure system. That's lunacy. That's just multi-level marketing almost. Like, hey, if you just, to the end of the year, guys, if you just keep inviting your friends, we'll give you money, and they need to keep inviting their friends, so you guys are all using our system. Because that's never backfired. Like, Jesus Christ. That's the problem with the affiliate market. It's just like one legal step. And I have no problem with affiliate marketing. I think it's, better than sponsors. I think it's better than the shitty sponsorships that we see, but I think that it has ruined people's ability to critically think. And why wouldn't you use a product for at least until almost the end of the year when they're about to end it and be like, hey guys, this worked out, it's great, I like them, I'm going to use them here. Not, I used it for a couple of days, wait for my full review, here's my affiliate link. God, I fucking hate it.
They're built on someone else, like the big three, T-Mobile, Verizon, AT&T. K
Yep.
is currently partnered with AT&T and US Cellular.
Yeah, which US Cellular got bought out by, T-Mobile, which is, whatever. AT&T of all places, by the way. AT&T, garbage. AT&T, literally fucking data retention up the ass. AT&T, terrible company.
Now, US Cellular was recently acquired by T-Mobile. However, Cape has said that their original agreement with US Cellular stands, and they are working on a new agreement with T-Mobile currently. I don't know what this means exactly, like whether they're...
US Cellular also, they have a way to, if they would let me go on their fucking site. We'll just do that. Oh wait, I'm thinking of US Mobile. Man, I'm retarded. There we go. Why do I get those fuckers mixed up? Here. They have single sign-on, which is good. Here we go. Very simple. Our system protocols the dark web. Oh, I don't care about that. That's bullshit. The dark web thing is stupid. Bring your number transfer. Fucking passkeys. Never forget another password. Passkeys are the most modern advanced account security. They have passkeys. They were doing SIM swap protection like years ago. Here we go. They also have I believe they had SIM swap protection somewhere. They had a SIM swap protection. I could have swore. As well, or was that Cloak? But passkeys is fucking great. That's passkeys is. I'm just lurking, and working at the same time. Based, get that money up, brother, and your funny up. Get both up, actually. Yeah, Cloak Wireless. I mean, for $25 a month, for sure. That's still pretty expensive. They do 3 authenticate options. They do TOPT, FIDO, and WebAuth. Fucking based. And they accept Monero. For a fraction of the fucking cost! Look at this guy. I don't even trust any of these people either. Their fucking marketing's terrible. I don't like Bitcoin, by the way. No IDs. They have a data only eSIM, which I used. Very good, very solid. Guys, here's my affiliate link. I used them for 7 days. Please, God, that just pay over time. Just about any with it. Guys, use Affirm. Yeah, don't do that. Don't do Affirm with your fucking wireless carrier. That'd be insane. 16 easy payments, guys. 72 payments, guys, and you finally paid off your Costco hot dog. But US Mobile still, passkey's great. Their pricing's great too. Just get fucking prepaid. Call it a day. If you want to save yourself 1 hour and 11 minutes of your life, guys, just get fucking prepaid.
Or if it only works on the towers but using Cape's connection at AT&T, so I can't say if AT&T at all rural, so if you'd really rely on T-Mobile for coverage, I would probably wait until Cape finishes an actual deal with T-Mobile themselves. In terms of
or just use another MVMO and just don't give them your real information and just, I don't know, fucking pay with cash. Or the other providers that fucking offer Monero support. Come on!
Network performance in my area, at least, Cape so far has had pretty much the same performance as the post-paid Verizon plan that I also have, which is...
Yeah, it's like, why wouldn't they? It's the same thing. If you know how much data you're using, you're not going to see a difference in performance. You only get throttled when you go over a certain amount of data. Of course, they're going to treat their post-paid priority customers more because they're paying them more. Me just being too critical.
It's pretty good. However, if performance is a huge concern for you, I would definitely test out Cape as a secondary SIM before you port over your...
Yeah, guys. Spend the extra money when gas is $18 a gallon and your mortgage is due. And your wife just left you.
Transferring my secondary number from US Mobile to Cape was super simple. It took like 10 minutes, most of that being the time before US Mobile sent me the PIN to port out. After I entered it in Cape, it was very. I think this baseline network stuff is kind of out of the way now, so let's get into Cape specific features. I'm going to start out with what I think is the most beneficial for most people, and then we'll get into the more.
Oh my god, another ad. I hope an ad plays over the ads that's having here so you guys don't have to see 2 ads.
Nou, ik doe mijn best.
They're not skippable, which is the painful part.
voldoende fruit. En groenten natuurlijk.
Guys, run an ad blocker, please, on my videos, because I don't want you to get hit with 2 ads.
Maar zelfs dan is het lastig om elke dag voldoende vezels binnen te krijgen. Nieuw, optimaal vezels. Voor een dagelijkse portie extra vezels. Optimaal, smaakt lekker, voelt goed.
Factureren kun je leren, maar het hoeft niet. Business finance zonder bullshit.
It's very painful.
Technical stuff. Getting the standard stuff out of the way first. It has unlimited data, talk and text, 5 gigabytes a month of international roaming, and mobile hotspot support, although the hotspot may throttle after 30 gigabytes. After that, for privacy-conscious people, Cape has a feature which allows you to get 2 secondary numbers that can receive text messages, and that's included in your plan. And those are non-VoIP numbers, which are typically blocked by a lot of services.
I've never had a problem with VoIP, except for my pseudo like 3 times. I've never had a problem with VoIP. It's sure you could say it's like actually I haven't seen even mostly blocked. I've used it on major providers, and the thing is, it's blocked when you're signing up. It's or most of the time with like major like fucking like social media sites. But if I'm in public and they ask for my fucking number for the 18th time, here's my VoIP number from my pseudo. That costs me like $12 a year. And I never get a rejection issue, really. If at all. I'm trying to think. I think YouTube rejected it because I tested it. I was like, oh, like Google, like a Google account, would they accept it? And they're like, no, we can't accept this. And I'm like, okay. But I've never had a rejection issue. But okay, go off, King.
Okay, so this feature I think is great for people who already use a number aliasing service like MySudo, or if you just use your regular phone number directly for things like receiving 2FA codes from your banks, verification codes from websites, etc. Switching to one of these to prevent kind of correlation between these sites and tracking or giving them your personal.
You can just also you're kind of like now trusting Cape with 3 of your numbers. And whatever, they can be ported out. They say they can't be ported out and they're working on it. But now you're trusting Cape with 3 numbers instead of compartmentalizing and using 2 different companies where they're much cheaper. You could have like a main number, $25 a month, so you're already half the cost of Cape. And then fucking $12 a year and my pseudo. There you go. And there's more other complicated ways to set this up, but that's just like the one I'm thinking off the dome.
You can get these secondary numbers with area codes from any state in the U.S., not just the same one phone number. And overall, I think this is a pretty nice feature to have. One downside of the secondary phone number feature is that you can't port out these numbers yet, which might make tying a lot of your accounts to these numbers a pretty tricky proposition. But I have been told Cape is working on this functionality, and hopefully it comes out soon. Another big benefit that Cape offers is the protections against SIM swap attacks. SIM swapping, where an attacker convinces your mobile provider to swap your number to a device the attacker owns, has become surprisingly prevalent lately, even among people who may not consider themselves to be high-profile targets. The attacks are commonly used against people to gain access to their bank accounts.
And this is a problem. But again, these mobile providers need to get on this shit themselves. And if you can, talk to your mobile provider now and be like, hey, do you guys have port out protection, and do you have SIM swap protection where I can't even swap my SIM without doing XYZ? Talk to your provider. See if they offer it. Because if they don't, find one that does.
And especially an uptick in these cases among cryptocurrency holders to drain their wallets. To understand how Cape protects against this, let's talk about the actual registration process.
What up, virgins? True!
When you sign up and pay through the app, which you can obtain...
Who's up, whatting up their virgins? Who up virgining?
The App Store on iOS, the Play Store on Android, or even the Crescent App Store on Android, which is wonderful for Graphene OS users, and also Cape specifically highlights Graphene OS support in their docs, which is very cool. Cape is going to randomly generate a phrase that secures your account. Speaking of cryptocurrency, if you've ever set up a crypto wallet, this is going to look very...
Them acknowledging Graphene OS, and Graphene OS being like, and Electronic Frontier Foundation being like, they're good. Like, doesn't mean anything. Just because they don't endorse it doesn't mean, or they do or don't. Back to my point that of do or don't endorse doesn't mean anything. Then, of course, there's Graphene OS is very well known established project now. It's not like some shit you see in the fucking in your mom like it's like in your mom's basement where it's this fringe thing.
Here with, but for those who like this crypto world, this is basically a randomly generated set of words that becomes the only way to access your Cape account.
Van Greenjoys krijg je niet alleen 100% groene stroom.
Another fucking ad. Oh my
Om
balls.
van natuurgebieden te verbeteren.
Zoals hier, bij het Oostvaartse meer.
Als klant draag je daar automatisch aan bij. Dat is de positieve energie van Greenjoys.
Open Cloud Creator said he likes blackjack and hookers. That's my life goal. That's a good thing to like. Based, actually.
They're so pretty. Thank you. I love butterflies. Oh, one more thing. Hello, Dreamhouse. Activate wings.
The hell is this shit?
Protecting and not losing these 24 random words is very critical. You need to keep them in a password manager or written down locally as a backup or any combination of things you think that will ensure you're both keeping them safe, but you also never lose access to them. If you did, you could lose your phone number and the ability to transfer to another device, which is all obviously very bad. The benefit of this setup is that the key is the absolute protector of your account and your phone number. Only you holding this key can ever transfer your phone number to another device, which completely eliminates this SIM swap problems. I think for a lot of cryptocurrency holders or high net worth individuals, this level of protection is currently the gold standard you probably need, but for everyone else, protecting against SIM swap attacks is very important as well. You're more vulnerable than I think you may think. Moving on to some other things that I think are technically very neat
And by the way, if you're that worried, first off, don't have your cryptocurrency in a fucking I am Mackie. That's my life goal. I am I am the goal. My thing is like what do you call it? If you have cryptocurrency and it's still in a centralized exchange, you're a fucking retard. Put it in a hardware wallet. There's no excuse at this point. There's no need. There's no need to have making the ultimate omelet. Oh, based omelet good. I'm retired. I can't even write a full sentence. Me. Yeah, it's I don't know, man. I would even say that there's only good two things out of Cape. It supposedly solves SS7 attacks. That's what they say, and it supposedly build it so they can't quote unquote track you.
whether carriers are doing at all, but if we're being honest, probably not things that the average person would benefit from too much. Maybe you will, I don't know. I really like the feature that they call network lock. It seems like a no-brainer feature in a world where we all have GPS-enabled devices anyways, but basically what this feature does is when you connect your phone to a cell tower, Cape is going to send a message to the Cape app on your phone asking whether it's in range of that tower. Your phone is going to check that locally against your GPS, and if you are in fact within range, then it lets Cape know that the
I have illiteracy. Oh, I mean, it's all right. I'm retarded too. I have illiteracy. And this isn't like a oh, I think that like Cape can't succeed. Super drunk right now before work. Gonna be a fun day. That sounds terrible actually. I don't think Cape can't exceed. I don't think that telecom providers shouldn't get their shit together. I don't think that this is can't be functional at this point, but I think it's primarily a gimmick, and you're just forking over money on a pipe dream. And the last thing you want to do is, fuck around and find out. They essentially talk about
Within a certain radius, which
how they protect against like SIM swap attacks. This could be easily as just a passphrase or putting a special lock on the account without having to rely on this. Oh, we're just reaching out. We're making sure this is you. Blah blah blah. Whatever. Or what you could do is make sure when you're setting up your accounts, do two-factor authentication with hardware tokens and hardware authentication devices, and not rely on SMS-based authentication. That would require these companies to get in gear and go away. If you guys want a really based website, this exists. All right. Cool. So there's FIDO 2 password authentication. Get a YubiKey. Go out of your way to make sure you secure your pretty much all your accounts that you can, and have less accounts if you can. List of FIDO 2 passkey support websites. There's hidez.com. They give you all the websites that do this. That's another good one. FIDOalliance.org. That's another one. It tells you like what they support and what they don't support. They use Cloudflare, unfortunately. And then there was another one. There was like another one that like pretty much doesn't support passkeys, etc., etc. stop relying on mobile providers and stop entrusting that they are going to be there for your best interest. I mean, they literally have the most access ever to your system, to like your operating system, which is your phone.
Kate would know from you connecting to their towers anyways. If your phone isn't in range of the tower, it says, hey, well, I'm not anywhere near there, and Kate won't let the connection through. What this protects against are signaling attacks, or SS7 attacks. I'm not going to get into every single detail.
So SS7, a simple TDLR is SS7 is a protocol so that other essentially telecom providers can communicate with each other. There's no authentication. It's really insecure. It is a problem. It needs to be fixed. This is a Band-Aid, in my opinion. It just needs to be fixed. Does that mean I'm saying it needs to be fixed now? No. Does that mean it's easy to fix? No. It's obviously hard. It's an integrated protocol. It's just like email. It is a problem. How you solve it is essentially using a service like this. For sure, they say that like, hey, we figured it out. You're trusting them. Or as much as possible, make sure that when you set up your services, like you're putting safeguards into place so you're not super reliant on one form of authentication. Like if I call, if someone does an S7 swap attack where they spoof my number, they call someone and they're like, balls, 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 balls. I'm like, oh, say the secret passphrase. Or whatever. Make up a way where if it is an emergency situation, they would know a word to tell you that it's an actual emergency. This could even be used for people that are afraid of their phone, like their voice being cloned with AI. If you have a set of friends or family members who are like, hey, if it is an actual emergency, I'll say, the banana is in my brown pudding. Do that with what you will. The point is, you need to set up safeguards that aren't relying on technology that people aren't going to know, because spoofing is a huge issue and it can happen and it isn't a real issue. SS7 is a real issue. Is it an issue that the average user should worry about? Not really, but is an issue. But don't rely on a technology to save you, just like you shouldn't rely on technology to perform good OPSEC. Yeah, they're trust-based and there is almost no authentication. A lot of people, they will sell access to this. It's very common.
World can spoof your phone through SS7, pretending you're roaming on their network and thereby routing all of your calls and text messages to them.
Yeah, you can even call, Vertasium did a video on it. It's, from what I understand, it's pretty accurate on what it can and cannot do. Bro sauced. We all sauced, brother. You can buy, from what we understand, is you can buy access to this. It's not like esoteric to the point where we can't do this. But the problem is this gimmick that you need this. You don't. Telecom providers need to get their shit together and actually fix it. I would say there's a lot that needs to be fixed. If you could go the extreme route and forfeit your number and live purely on data, VoIP, and Wi-Fi, absolutely fucking do it. And if you can reject any form of SMS-based authentication for two-factor authentication, absolutely reject it. While this ad plays...
Betalingen waar je op kunt bouwen. Business finance zonder bullshit. Konto.
SS7 access themselves. This is a lot harder for a random attacker to do, but it's definitely within the realm of some insider in the networks or nation-state adversaries. I could imagine this attack being used against some high-profile celebrity or a target of some country, but for everyone else, while it's a neat feature to have, I suspect this is probably not a problem. Another benefit of Cake is IMSI rotation. It will change your international mobile subscriber identity number every 24 hours automatically or on demand. This is actually very cool because your IMSI is one of the main ways your phone can be tracked, most notably by IMSI catchers that
I prefer the opposite, Cell or LoRa. LoRa is proprietary and the range is terrible. And its bandwidth limitation is terrible. I would prefer. I learned not to write schizoid rants on public platforms for sure. Wi-Fi seems easier to track for a nation state. If you use Graphene OS, it's not. Graphene OS does Mac randomization. They do a pretty good job at. It's nothing. Nothing is perfect. But if it's if you have nation state actors, then nothing's going to save you. I mean, that's just common sense. You can't prevent something that's nation state to track you. When you have unlimited time and money, it's just not possible to. I mean, it's possible to hide, of course, like anything else. If you have federal contracts with other governments that hate whatever government you have. But in reality, it's not ideal. But Wi-Fi is probably far better. There's no correlation. There's tons of public Wi-Fi. There's people constantly connecting to it. Graphene OS does a good job at except a gun. It's true. Graphene OS has a pretty good grip on how it works. It does full MAC randomization every time you make a connection, so it's like it's new.
Cell towers to capture your IMSI number from any phone nearby. This is probably the biggest feature Cave offers that some people call snake oil, but I'm not really sure it's as useless of a feature as some people may think. A couple of important things to note here. Firstly, this feature is only available on iPhones and Google Pixels, although it does work with Graphene OS, which again is very cool. If you bring over a different device to Cave, you are going to miss out. The other thing with how IMSI catchers work is that back with 2G networks, the IMSI was just sent.
So I'm going to call it a Stingray because people know it as a Stingray, but the Stingray is the company. Stingrays are not it's kind of like the Kleenex thing. Like, it's not, Kleenex is the brand, Stingray is the brand, not the point. The thing is, I'm just using them interchangeably. Stingrays are notorious for downgrading. They'll downgrade you to an unencrypted form of communications like 2G, 3G, that's weaker, easier to crack, easier to intercept, easier to do a man in the middle. And Jonah will go over this, and they will explain it, and it's pretty easy to understand. When they do this, it enforces a lot of bad things because they can intercept a lot. Graphene OS allows you to disable 2G completely, and you should, if you can, to disable it because it is not a good. It's outdated. It's bad. It's like going back to Cipher, Caesar Cipher.
Cell towers in the clear, no protection at all. 2G IMSI catchers are very cheap and they're easy to get, and there are also ways for an attacker to.
They are. You can make one. You can make them for less than $1,500. You can make a very sophisticated one for less than $1,500. People have done it for cheaper.
Actually downgrade your connection to 2G temporarily.
Yeah.
What connection you're normally making, and that makes you vulnerable.
Not good.
The best protection against this is simply disabling 2G, which you can do on Graphene OS or
Yep.
iOS with lockdown mode enabled. And
I didn't know about the lockdown, but that's silly. They should allow you. These cell phone manufacturers should allow you just to disable it completely on your own. You shouldn't have to do lockdown mode. You shouldn't have to have Graphene OS. It's really a problem.
very few other phones really. 3G and 4G LTE do have some basic protections for your IMSI, but they are not particularly strong connections.
I believe it's like it upgrade like 3G and 4G encryption got implemented, but it's not good, and it's its own thing you got to read about. It's kind of like understanding like the 1G, 2G, 3G, well, 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G, and how it works, and LTE, and different flavors of 5G. To be honest,
And it's known that there are 3G and 4G catchers out there as well, although they are a bit less common for sure. The IMSI catcher problem really only began to be fully addressed in the 5G protocol, but the major protections that it has rely on the 5G network being a 5G standard.
and this is true, the implementation needs to exist on the client. So if I could ever find this, I know I say this every time. If I could ever find this article, it does a really good job at kind of breaking down pretty good phone privacy's way that they talk about 5G and IMSI rotation and IMEI rotation. And they say 5G, it pretty much loosely says 5G's great when it works, but when it doesn't, it's bad. You know, like 5G is, I wonder if Schneider on security has them. The 5G they got now, UTE, whatever, is garbage and easier to track. 5G is 100% easier to track. That's true, because 5G requires its bandwidth is kind of interesting because I think it's a shorter wave. It's the distance, the speed. You get the speed implementations much better, but the distance is much closer to each other. My router used to drop packets because of the band interface depending on your router and software. I'm pretty sure they operate in different spaces. You can make your own 5G network. So 5G is easier to track because the amount of towers that's used to make sure that the speeds are matching. But in reality, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad from a privacy standpoint in terms of like trackability. It's pretty insane. Yo, I wonder if it was him. Oh, Hawaiian Chinese surveillance. IMSI catchers from Canada. Ray Hunter. Ray Hunter I think is the new one. Ray Hunter is like the to tell you if there's a stingray. IMIS catchers. I think this is it. We all know that cell phones constantly give our location. Network operators, how they work. A group of researchers have figured out a way to fix that. Pretty good phone privacy protects both user identity and user location. Using existing cell networks, it protects its users from fake cell phone towers, ISMI catchers, and surveillance by cell phones. It's a clever system. They are to use traditional networks, MNO, like AT&T and Verizon, and a new mobile virtual operating network, MVNO. MVNOs aren't new. They're intermediaries like Cricket and Boost. It has to be somebody you can make sure the subscriber doesn't receive subscribers beast phone calls. I'm assuming that's the IMSI. Why can't IMSI location be tracked? Isn't that a unique identifier per cell phone? Yeah, that is interesting how they solved it. Like how do they know that you subscribe to the service, and how do they keep track of that without revealing any information about you? If I ever find this site, guys, this 5G, I wonder if those fake palm trees I see popping up everywhere in the social are fake police towers. They could be. they very well could be. Bogus security technology. Let's see. The 5G BioShield sells for holy shit. That does sound like snake oil. The security risk inherent in Chinese 5G made networking equipment to understand. Southern California. That sounds about real. Oh, but keeping untrusted companies like Huawei and Western infrastructure isn't enough to secure 5G. Neither is banning Chinese microchip software or programming securely. Vulnerabilities in the standard protocol and software for 5G ensures that vulnerabilities will remain regardless of who provides them. Wow, this rewiring democracy, defend privacy, support, and I'm all for privacy. I'm all for security, obviously. SoCal, baby. I'm just not for snake oil. China isn't the only problem with 5G. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. This is a long read. We'll calling them the most private phone carrier, by the way, is fucking insane and clickbaity. You don't even know that. It's like you're making like a claim for, you're making a claim, and not only you're making a claim that you have to back up. Just because, again, bigger companies are not calling them out. It's not Graphene OS's job to go out there and look for, and neither is the Electronic Frontier Fund or Proton. It's not their job to go out there and vet these companies. It's essentially cool if they're like, hey, this is pretty good. We actually use this in our company and we endorse it and they do a good job and we've looked through the code, etc., etc. That's fine, but until you can actually read the code and understand the technology, it's kind of like in my opinion, it's a gimmick. But understanding 5G and 3G and 4G and all this is such an interesting, it's a very interesting technology. The inherent risk in Chinese made networking equipment. But we'll go over this.
It's great that they're finally beginning to take steps to mitigate this problem in 5G, but we're not quite there yet. And also, LTE networks are likely going to stick around for a long time as well. So maybe with 6G, we'll get it right. I am a side rotation.
God, somebody kill me. The fucking ads.
Betalingen waar je op kunt bouwen. Business finance zonder bullshit. Konto.
It is a pretty good protection against this sort of tracking, which the EFF does consider to be relatively concerning, especially when it comes to their use by law enforcement, check protesters, activists, journalists. I am a side rotation.
Guys, EFF hates EFF hates this thing that's tracking people.
Also, another thing which helps report the SS7 attacks I mentioned earlier. Someone performing an SS7 attack does need your IMSI number to do it, and usually will collect that number somehow and then use it to attack you months or even years later. So if you swap out that number every 24 hours, that is a pretty effective way to thwart that attack as well. I think the problem that a lot of people have with the IMSI rotation feature is that your phone also has another identifier called the IMEI number, where E stands for equipment. This isn't rotated, and it serves as a persistent tracker to your carrier, just like IMSI is. The distinction that I would make is that while your IMSI number can be transmitted in the clear even on 4G, your IMEI number is only transmitted on mutual authentication with the carrier on 4G and LTE, which means that a man-in-the-middle attack like an IMSI catcher couldn't just do the same thing with your IMEI. There are still two problems with this though. Firstly, on both 3G and 2G, your IMEI is unfortunately transmitted through plain text lockup mode on iOS or with LTE only mode on Graphene OS. I'm not aware of any other devices which allow you to disable 2G, but if you do know of one, let me know in the comments. The second problem is that the IMEI really lets you be tracked by your carrier itself. In this case, that would be Cape and their underlying network like AT&T. This is a problem that you're going to face on any carrier, and Cape is pretty clear that it's not a problem they solve here. The only real way around this sort of tracking by your carrier is either to swap out your actual phone all the time, which is pretty crazy, or to have a phone where the hardware supports IMEI location, which is definitely not commercially available anywhere at the moment. Cape actually used a cell phone called Obscura, which did do this, but they no longer do, and it was also very expensive. I do think there are some benefits to IMSI rotation at the end of the day, and if you're super concerned about IMEI tracking, you probably shouldn't be using any cellular service at all.
This is true. It doesn't take 20 minutes to get to that, but it's true. And 8 ads, Jesus Christ. Can I get 1 penny of this ad, please? Still live, whoop? For sure. It's a late night, man.
Voldoende fruit. En groenten natuurlijk. Maar zelfs dan is het lastig om elke dag voldoende vezels binnen te krijgen. Nieuw, optimaal vezels. Voor een dagelijkse portie extra vezels. Optimaal, smaakt lekker, voelt goed.
Voor elke ondernemer een simpele zakelijke rekening. Vertrouwd door meer dan 600.000 ondernemers. Business finance zonder bullshit. Konto.
That tracking by the carrier itself can pretty much always be done. At the end of the day, I do think there are some benefits to IMSI rotation, and if you're concerned about IMEI tracking, you probably just shouldn't be using any cellular service at all, because they can all basically track you with this approach. While IMSI catchers are certainly more prevalent than SS7 attacks, I'm not sure that even they are a massive problem that most people are. I personally not see much downside to using Cape. A common refrain among skeptics is that it was founded by ex-Palantir employees, which I think...
And that's a good fucking skeptic. As you should. That's a good reason.
I think that's a fair criticism. Is it possible this is another Anon-type operation? I think it's possible to run for sure. Although, unlike Anon, Cape is directly targeting a mass consumer audience instead of specifically, which is...
It doesn't matter if it's directed towards a massive audience or a small set of people that are quote-unquote criminals. If your goal is to honeypot people, it doesn't matter who you fucking point it to. Especially when you have a referral system.
Uncommon for law enforcement operations to do, and on the other hand, their collective experience may give Cape more insight into the type of tracking that is actually...
You don't need to work for Palantir, one of the fucking massive data companies, to collect insight and be like, guys, I think what we're doing is wrong. Let's start a cell phone company. Jesus Christ.
...in the real world and ways to potentially thwart it. My line of thinking, personally, is that generally, Cape can't really be significantly worse than the other carriers, who are fully capable of doing all the same tracking and are known to sell your data.
Yes, it can. It 100% can be worse. Through a referral program. It's giving you a false sense. No. I wish though. If it's giving you a false sense of security, that means you will be more trusting with the product and more trusting with the service. It could absolutely be worse. Because you're telling people, hey, it's kind of good.
Their privacy-based things. Unlike sting operations like Anon, which could trivially see everything you do through their backdoor client, a lot of the data that's going to be flowing through your carrier is already strongly protected, whether that's through end-to-end encrypted apps like Signal or iMessage, or most other connections through HTTPS. Cape can't really see much besides your calls and texts, which hopefully you're moving to an encrypted messenger these days anyways, and some basic internet traffic data, but even that stuff is easily protected from Cape using a good VPN. So, like I said at the beginning, I referred to people Cape, so it's a no-brainer for me right now at $10 a month. Maybe I'll even end up with it for free. For $50 a month, yes, it does come in at more than some other prepaid.
Or you could just use a VPN and then turn off your location when it matters. And you could just not pay this much money. All very simple, all very inexpensive, all very based options. and not trust a gimmick, in my opinion. Remember, guys, you can't say anything without the fear of getting sued or hate comment or think you're a hater or copyright striked.
But when you get to that, it's the best swapping protection on the market. Secondary phone numbers, you don't have to give out your main one to your bank or random companies. Unlimited data, and a couple other neat features that no other carrier is even considering offering. So, would you pay $50 a month for this? I think only you can decide, but let me know what you think in the comments, and if you're starting a family plan.
No! I just don't care for Doritos. I know I said I wish, but I just like the crunch. I like crunch. I like anything crunchy. Or maybe I said no at the same time as you sent out Dorito Gang. I would say that there was somebody that used to be in this chat. And they used to dick ride Cape. Be like, guys, they make their core technology. Guys, they're core mobile. Like, they were like dick riding Cape when they didn't even know if it was going to work or not. It was concerning. And this is when it was $100. I was like, dude, are they paying you? It's too prepaid. Like, I'll even say it. Dorito Gang would be a solid darknet hacker group. That sounds like a darknet. That sounds like a hacker group. Straight from North Korea. My thing is, I will never dick ride a company to the point where if someone has, like, even it has non-valid criticism, I'm going to be like, oh, that is dumb. A perfect example, Tutanota, I like them. They're a good email provider. If they do something shady, I will drop. But they've been around for about 10 years at this point. They have a good track record. They use end-to-end encryption. There's a reason they don't use PGP. I get why people get mad about the no PGP option, and I understand the no PGP option, and it's a valid criticism of the no PGP option, because people like to encrypt, that have been in the space a long time, they like to encrypt it themselves. But on a technical level, PGP is not good. And that is something that people don't argue against. Like, they argue against the semantics of it. And that's fine, whatever. I'm not here to defend Tutanota. They're not paying me. I use them because they said they don't do ads. Whatever on the PGP, I don't care. Do you use Cockmail? Cockmail's alright, but I don't trust the person. R.I.P. Pissmail, though. They don't do ads. They don't collect analytics. They're open source on the client side. They're not open source on the server side, which I think is bullshit, and they should change. They should change that. And most importantly, they know the limitations of email, and they make that up front, and they accept Monero. All very simple things that meet my criteria. Does that mean that you should go use Tutanota and I should be just handing out the affiliate links for Tutanota? No, because if they do shitty things, and they don't even do if they do shitty things, it's worthy to call them out for. They're making a Tuta drive, and I think that's where they're going to stop. That's it. They're not going to make 15 other products like, Proton, where they're like, let's think of another product, guys, that we can have finished and release and not work on the ones that we don't have already finished. It's just, we're running into like, Bethesda game level, like, Bethesda game level type of commitment where they're like, we're gonna see a 3/4 of all the shit coming out, 3/4 of everything coming out and not finished. What mail to give when you are purchasing with PGP? Huh? What mail to give? What do you mean? Like if you're purchasing stuff and you want to do it over email, you probably shouldn't use PGP. You should probably use more secure telecom options that allow you, that knows. The thing is, email, you don't know if they deleted your email or not. There is some evidence that the messages are deleted with Signal and SimpleX. You don't know if they screenshotted it, like with another phone or whatever. I mean, that gets a little complicated. But if you delete it after a period of time, you're pretty you could be safe. Oh, on markets, you should probably use an email provider that collects little to no information, and make sure that they don't require any personal information and accept Monero if you're going to pay for it. That's what I would do. But you know what I would also do is make sure to tell YouTube that I'm a real person and they love me and all my policies. So I have given you guys an hour and 57 minutes of my day. I have consumed enough beers to get EPs, and it is EP time. Make sure to go and comment below what your favorite EP time story is. Everyone's got one. Tuta's good. Tuta gets whitelisted. I mean blacklisted sometimes. And they have a period of time before you can sign up. Like when you sign up, it takes like 24 hours. But beyond that, they're good. But what is also good is me getting offline and touching grass. I have to go to Oklahoma to dig a hole for a person that I don't know. I will see you guys in the next video, and make sure that you yourself do your research and come to your own conclusions. I appreciate everyone that has stopped by.